Scout Officer Zextal's antennae twitched as the detection array's soft chime broke the bridge's silence. The young Araxian leaned forward in their monitoring station, compound eyes reflecting the holographic display's pale blue glow. Something about this signal was different from the usual space debris and stellar phenomena they encountered in the Perseus arm. "Senior Navigator," Zextal called out, maintaining their calm professional tone despite growing excitement. "I'm detecting an unusual energy signature at bearing 274.3 by 15.8, approximately 2 light hours from our position." Senior Navigator Kra, a veteran of countless survey missions, glided across the bridge on her gravity pads. Her scaled fingers danced across the control interface, ringing up a detailed sensor analysis. Classification: Unknown, Senior Navigator. The signature doesn't match anything in our database. Zextal adjusted the scanning frequency. But its pattern suggests artificial origin. Whatever it is, it's big. Kra's inner eyelids flickered, a sign of intense interest among her species. Helm: Adjust course to investigate. Maintain standard approach protocols. The Coalition survey vessel, Stellar Seeker, altered its trajectory, its quantum drives humming quietly as it navigated through the star-speckled void. As they drew closer, secondary sensors began picking up more details. The energy signature was emanating from within a dense field of cosmic dust, perfectly positioned to avoid casual detection. "Deploying clearing pulses," announced the ship's engineer, their tentacles working multiple control stations simultaneously. Brief flashes of charged particles dispersed the surrounding dust, revealing what lay hidden beyond. The bridge crew fell silent. There, suspended in the eternal night, floated a vessel of impossible proportions. Its hull was midnight black, absorbing nearby starlight, but elegant lines of softly glowing blue energy traced its length. The design was unlike anything in modern Coalition records, yet somehow familiar to those who had studied ancient historical texts. "Match found," the ship's AI announced, its tone carrying an unusual note of reverence. Design corresponds to theoretical reconstructions of human naval architecture, specifically their legendary Titan-class supercarriers. Confidence rating: 98.7%. Kra's scales shifted color in astonishment. Humans? Impossible. They vanished centuries ago during the terminal conflict. Yet there it was, a perfect specimen of humanity's golden age. As Stellar Seeker maneuvered closer, ancient markings became visible along the massive hull. The ship's name, T.E.'s Prometheus, stood out in crisp Terran letters, untouched by time. No signs of structural degradation, Zextal reported, running detailed scans. The hull appears to be surrounded by some form of temporal field. Senior Navigator, it's perfectly preserved. "Notify Coalition Command immediately," Kra ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of their discovery. "Priority Ultra, encryption level maximum, and prepare a detailed sensor log of everything we're seeing." She paused, watching as their spotlights played across the supercarrier's vast form. After 300 years, humanity's greatest mysteries are still revealing themselves. The bridge crew worked with focused intensity, documenting every detail of their historic find. None of them could shake the feeling that this was more than just a relic of the past. Somehow, this sleeping giant felt like a harbinger of things to come. The Coalition assessment team moved cautiously through the silent corridors of the Prometheus, their footsteps echoing against metal that hadn't felt a living touch in centuries. Chief Engineer Landra led the group, her bioluminescent patches casting a soft glow that complemented their standard-issue lights. "These corridors are massive," whispered Junior Technician Vex, his scales shifting to match the dark metal walls. An unconscious response of his species to stress. "Everything's built to a different scale than our ships." Lanra consulted her scanning device. Humans were innovators in modular ship design. These passages aren't just corridors. They're maintenance channels that could be reconfigured during battle. She gestured to barely visible seams in the walls and ceiling. Remarkable engineering. The team reached what appeared to be a primary control center. holographic interfaces lay dormant, their surfaces covered in a protective layer of temporal stasis. The air was perfectly preserved, as if time itself had forgotten this chamber existed. "Begin standard documentation procedures," Lanra ordered. "No physical contact with any systems until we've completed full spectral analysis." Vex moved to a corner station, waving his scanner over the controls. The device's screen flickered unexpectedly. "Chief, I'm getting some unusual readings from this panel. It's like it's responding to our presence." Before Lanra could respond, a soft hum filled the room. Lines of blue energy began tracing through the ship's walls, following circuits that had laid dormant for centuries. The holographic displays shimmered to life one by one, their ancient crystals awakening from their long slumber. "All teams, fall back to the entry point," Lanra commanded into her communicator. But before anyone could move, a voice filled the chamber, deep, resonant, and unmistakably artificial. "Temporal stasis field disengage. Primary systems online. This is Atlas, primary intelligence of the TES Prometheus. Please identify yourselves." The team stood frozen as a holographic figure materialized in the center of the room, a tall, dignified form wearing what appeared to be a human naval uniform. Its appearance was deliberately designed to bridge the gap between organic and artificial. I am Chief Engineer Lanra of the Galactic Coalition," she managed to reply, her professional training taking over. "This vessel was discovered by our survey team." Atlas' expression showed subtle interest. "Galactic Coalition. Accessing historical projections. Ah, yes. The Alliance was in its early stages when we initiated the Timekeeper Protocol. Tell me, Chief Engineer, what year is it by the standard galactic calendar?" When Lanra provided the date, the AI was silent for a moment. 304 years, exactly as calculated. Initiating synchronized revival sequence. The AI's form turned slightly, seeming to address the ship itself. "Wake up, old friend. It's time." Throughout the vessel, thousands of systems began their careful reactivation procedures. But more significantly, hundreds of similar signals suddenly burst across Coalition space, each one coming from another sleeping human vessel, perfectly preserved and waiting for this exact moment. In the control room, Atlas's expression carried the weight of centuries of waiting. "Please notify your superiors, Chief Engineer. The Timekeeper Protocol has begun, precisely on schedule." Humanity's return was never a matter of if, but when. The stasis chamber hummed with growing energy as countless pods began their revival sequences. Atlas monitored each life sign with precise attention, ensuring the safety of every crew member. Coalition medical teams stood by, their advanced equipment ready but ultimately unnecessary against the perfection of human temporal stasis technology. Captain Sarah Chen's pod was the first to open, releasing a soft hiss of preserved atmosphere. Her eyes opened slowly, revealing sharp brown irises that quickly focused on her surroundings. 3 centuries of sleep had left her physically unchanged, her mind as clear as the day she entered stasis. "Status report, Atlas," she commanded, her voice steady as she sat up. The stasis pod's medical systems had already completed their work, leaving her alert and ready. "All systems nominal, Captain. Crew revival proceeding at optimal levels. We have guests, Galactic Coalition representatives." The AI's holographic form appeared beside her. "The year is exactly as projected in the Timekeeper Protocol." Chen nodded, smoothing her uniform as she stood. Around her, other pods were opening in carefully choreographed sequence. Executive Officer James Rodriguez emerged next, followed by Chief Science Officer Dr. Maya Patel and the rest of the bridge crew. "Welcome to the future, Captain." Lanra stepped forward, trying to hide her amazement at the human's composed demeanor. "I'm Chief Engineer Lanra of the Coalition survey vessel Stellar Seeker." "Thank you, Chief Engineer," Chen replied with a diplomatic smile. "Though for us, it feels like only moments have passed." She watched as her crew emerged, each one immediately moving to their designated revival stations with practiced precision. I see humanity's absence has led to some interesting developments in the galaxy. Dr. Patil approached, her tablet already syncing with the ship's systems. Captain, initial data download complete. The Coalition has evolved considerably from the alliance we knew. Their technological development followed several unexpected paths. And our other ships? Chen asked, turning to Atlas. All responding, Captain. The network is intact. Every vessel reports successful revival sequences across their predetermined coordinates. The chamber grew busy as more crew members awakened. Each pod revealed specialists chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to adapt to whatever future they might encounter. Historians, engineers, scientists, and diplomats, each one preserved at the height of their abilities. Chen turned back to Lanra. Chief Engineer, I imagine your superiors have many questions. As do we. But first, there's something you need to see. She gestured to Dr. Patel, who activated a nearby holographic display. A detailed star map appeared, showing hundreds of points of light across the galaxy. These aren't just warships, Chen explained, her expression serious but hopeful. Each vessel carries a fragment of humanity's legacy. Our knowledge, our culture, our achievements. We scattered them across the stars not to hide, but to preserve. And now that the time has come, we're ready to share what we protected with the galaxy that grew in our absence. The Coalition team watched in wonder as the crew of the Prometheus continued their revival procedures, each movement speaking of careful preparation and unwavering purpose. This wasn't just a ship returning to life. It was humanity's carefully planned renaissance, orchestrated across centuries, with characteristic precision and foresight. The Grand Council chamber aboard the Coalition flagship Unity buzzed with activity as representatives from 30 different species gathered for an emergency session. The crystalline dome above reflected the light of distant stars, while holographic displays showed real-time footage of the Prometheus and its newly awakened crew. High Counselor Venres, a tall Centaurian with iridescent feathers, called the session to order. We have with us today Captain Sarah Chen of the human vessel Prometheus. Captain, you have the floor. Chen stood at the central podium, her uniform pristine, her posture revealing years of diplomatic training. The ancient Earth insignia on her collar caught the light, a reminder of a civilization that had shaped the galaxy's history. Honored representatives, she began, her voice carrying clear authority. 3 centuries ago, humanity faced a choice. We could stand and fall, or we could preserve our legacy for a time when it would be most needed. The Timekeeper Protocol wasn't an act of retreat. It was an investment in the galaxy's future. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A Proximan representative raised his crystalline appendage. Yet your ships are clearly armed with temporal weapons we barely understand. How can we be certain this investment isn't a prelude to military action? Chen smiled gently. Because, honored representative, if conquest was our goal, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The Prometheus carries something far more valuable than weapons. She gestured to Dr. Patel, who activated a holographic display. Images filled the chamber. Vast agricultural databases, medical breakthroughs, clean energy systems, and technological innovations that had been lost to time. These are our true weapons against the challenges that face us all. My crew includes humanity's finest minds, preserved at the peak of their knowledge. Ambassador Krell of the Arcturian sphere leaned forward. You speak of challenges as if you know something we don't, Captain. What exactly did humanity see coming that required such extreme measures? That information will be shared in due time, Ambassador, Chen replied diplomatically. But first, we need to establish trust. The Prometheus isn't just a vessel. It's a bridge between eras. We're offering to share our knowledge, but we also want to learn what the galaxy has discovered in our absence. High Counselor Venres's feathers shifted thoughtfully. And what of the other human ships appearing across Coalition space? Our sensors detect at least 200 of them. Each carries different aspects of human knowledge and expertise, Chen explained. We didn't put all our eggs in one basket, as the old Earth saying goes. Every ship has its role in humanity's contribution to galactic civilization. The chamber erupted in discussion, but Chen remained composed. She caught Dr. Patel's subtle signal. More ships were awakening, exactly according to the timeline they'd established centuries ago. Everything was proceeding as planned, even the political turbulence they now navigated. We offer partnership, Chen continued once the chamber quieted. Not domination, not submission, but true cooperation. The stars are vast, counselors, but the challenges facing us are vaster still. Humanity didn't sleep for 3 centuries just to wake up and start conflicts. We waited to help end them. Deep within the Prometheus's strategic command center, holographic displays painted the room in a soft azure glow. Captain Chen stood with coalition military advisors, watching as hundreds of red markers appeared across the galactic map. Each point represented a defense satellite activating after centuries of dormancy. 300 years ago, Chen explained, her finger tracing a pattern in the holographic stars. Our quantum predictive engines detected a cycle, something ancient moving through the galaxy, following a precise temporal pattern. We weren't the first civilization to face it, but we intended to be the last. Admiral Cross of the Coalition Defense Force studied the data streams with his 4 eyes. These readings match anomalies we've detected in the outer sectors. We assumed they were natural phenomena. That's exactly what they want you to think, Dr. Patel interjected, bringing up detailed sensor logs. The entity we faced, we called it the Nexus, operates on a 3-century hibernation cycle. It emerges, consumes advanced civilizations, then retreats to process the gathered technology. Atlas projected a new overlay, showing the awakening human ships positioned in an intricate geometric pattern across the galaxy. Our vessels weren't scattered randomly, the AI explained. Each position was carefully calculated to create a temporal detection grid. The Timekeeper protocol wasn't just about preservation, it was about preparation. A junior coalition analyst burst into the command center, their bioluminescent patches pulsing with urgency. Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures in the Carina arm. They'd match nothing in our records. They wouldn't, Chen said quietly. The Nexus adapts, evolves, but so did we. She nodded to Atlas, who displayed a new set of readings. Humanity's ships are already beginning to share data. Each vessel carries a piece of the defense network we designed centuries ago. The holographic display shifted, showing a massive structure assembling itself in deep space. The Coalition officers watched in amazement as automated systems, dormant for 300 years, began constructing defensive platforms with technology far beyond current understanding. Every human ship carries temporal shielding technology, Chen continued, not just for preservation, but for protection against the Nexus's time-based weapons. We couldn't stop them alone, but we could prepare the galaxy for their return. Admiral Cross's scales rippled with concern. Why didn't you warn us directly? Why the elaborate temporal preservation? Because the Nexus monitors developing civilizations, Dr. Patel explained. If we had remained active and helped advance your technology too quickly, they would have emerged early. Instead, we let the Coalition develop naturally while we waited in temporal stasis. Now we can share our technology when it's most needed. The command center sensors chimed in warning. Far beyond Coalition space, something massive was stirring. The detection grid was lighting up exactly as humanity's predictive engines had calculated centuries ago. This is what we prepared for, Chen said, her voice firm with determination. Every ship, every piece of technology, every crew member we preserved, all for this moment. The Coalition has grown strong, but together we can be stronger. The Nexus expects to find scattered civilizations. Instead, they'll face a united galaxy, armed with humanity's legacy and the Coalition's determination. The Prometheus's main hangar bay had been transformed into an impromptu training center. Coalition engineers and officers moved between stations where human crew members demonstrated their technology. The air hummed with excitement as centuries of advancement were shared freely. The key to temporal shielding isn't just the technology, Dr. Patel explained to a group of wide-eyed coalition scientists. She manipulated a miniature shield generator, its protective field shimming with possibilities. It's understanding that time isn't a river flowing in one direction. It's an ocean of potential. Nearby, Executive Officer Rodriguez guided coalition pilots through simulator runs. "Your quantum drives are impressive," he noted, examining their ship designs. "But they're vulnerable to temporal distortion. We can help you modify them to navigate through time-shifted space." From her observation point on the upper deck, Captain Chen watched the exchange of knowledge with satisfaction. High Counselor Venris stood beside her, his feathers shifting in patterns of amazement. "Your crew shows remarkable patience with our questions," Venris observed. "Some of our scientists have been working for decades on theories your people mastered centuries ago." "Knowledge means nothing if it's not shared," Chen replied. "Watch this." She nodded to Atlas, who activated a holographic demonstration in the center of the hangar. A miniature battle played out in the air. Coalition ships equipped with modified temporal shields, engaging a simulated Nexus probe. The Coalition vessels moved with impossible grace, their enhanced systems allowing them to predict and counter attacks seconds before they occurred. 3 days of integration, and your teams are already adapting our technology to your ship's unique designs, Chen noted proudly. "Some are even improving on our original concepts." Dr. Patel approached with a group of coalition engineers, their datapads filled with collaborative designs. "Captain, the integration of their quantum crystalline matrices with our temporal cores is showing promising results. The efficiency rates are beyond our original projections." "Excellent," Chen responded, then turned to Venris. "High Counselor, there's something else you should see. Atlas, show us the Prometheus's heart." The holographic display shifted, revealing a massive chamber deep within the ship. A sphere of pure energy pulsed at its center, surrounded by rings of rotating crystals. "The temporal core," Chen explained. "Humanity's greatest achievement. It doesn't just shield us from time, it lets us reshape it. With your permission, we'd like to begin installing scaled versions on key coalition defense platforms." Venris studied the display intently. "The power requirements must be enormous." "That's where your civilization's advances help us," Dr. Patel interjected excitedly. "Your quantum crystalline technology is exactly what we need to make the cores more efficient. Together, we can create defenses the Nexus never anticipated." A soft alert chimed through the hangar. Coalition and human crew members alike turned to the main display as new data streamed in from the detection grid. The Nexus was moving faster than expected, but so was the integration of their combined technologies. "We're ahead of schedule," Chen observed, allowing herself a small smile. "Humanity planned for centuries, but the Coalition's adaptability is exceeding all our projections. Perhaps the future holds more possibilities than even we calculated." The bridge of the Prometheus hummed with focused energy as human and coalition officers worked in seamless coordination. Through the main viewport, the combined fleet stretched across space, coalition vessels with their crystalline hulls gleaming alongside the sleek, dark forms of awakened human ships. "Multiple temporal distortions detected," Atlas announced. "Nexus signatures confirmed. First wave approaching from Vector 73 Mark IV. Captain Chen stood at the command center, surrounded by holographic tactical displays. "All ships, assume defensive formation Delta. Coalition cruisers, align your quantum matrices with our temporal shields." Admiral Cross's voice came through the comm system, calm and assured. Coalition fleet responding. "Quantum temporal synchronization at 97%. We're ready, Captain." The first Nexus ships emerged from hyperspace, massive biomechanical forms that seemed to twist reality around them. Their surfaces rippled with adaptive armor, already beginning to analyze the fleet's defenses. "They're scanning us," Dr. Patel reported from her science station. "Just as we predicted, they're trying to decrypt our temporal signatures." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Let them look. Executive Officer Rodriguez, signal all ships to initiate Protocol Prism. The combined fleet's formation shifted subtly. Coalition vessels aligned their newly modified quantum drives with the human ship's temporal cores. Energy began to flow between the vessels, creating an interconnected web of temporal quantum fields. Nexus vessels launching temporal disruption waves, Atlas warned. The space between the fleets distorted as the enemy attempted to age their ships into dust. But the attack washed harmlessly against their shields. The Coalition's quantum crystalline technology amplified the human temporal defenses, creating a protection grid far stronger than either civilization could have achieved alone. All ships, execute attack pattern Echo 3, Chen commanded. Show them what unity looks like. The fleet moved as one organism. Coalition vessels launched salvos of quantum-enhanced torpedoes, while human ships created temporal corridors for them to pass through. The weapons struck their targets before the Nexus predictive systems could respond, their combined technology bypassing adaptive shields. Their flagship is attempting to call reinforcements, Rodriguez reported. Temporal transmission detected. Not today, Chen responded. Atlas, activate the Prometheus's primary weapon. Coalition ships, stand by to channel additional power through the quantum network. The Prometheus's temporal core pulsed with brilliant energy. The Coalition fleet's quantum matrix amplified the signal, creating a cascading wave of chronometric particles. The Nexus ships found themselves trapped in a bubble of fractured time, their usual advantage stripped away. Direct hit on their command ship, Patil announced as the enemy flagship's hull cracked under the temporal stress. Their adaptive systems can't compensate for the combined attack. The remaining Nexus vessels began to retreat. Their confident advance turned into a desperate withdrawal. But the Coalition's victory had come at a price. Several ships showed battle damage, their crews working to maintain the complex defensive grid. All ships, maintain formation, Chen ordered. This was only their scouting force. But we've proven something today that will echo across the galaxy. We are stronger together than any of us could be alone. The combined fleet regrouped, human and Coalition crews already sharing repair techniques and battle analyses. In the face of an ancient enemy, they had forged something new, a partnership that transcended centuries of separation. The observation deck of Coalition Station Unity offered a spectacular view of the combined fleet's victory celebration. Hundreds of ships, both human and Coalition, created patterns of light against the star-filled backdrop. The Prometheus held position at the center, its temporal shields creating subtle ripples in spacetime that looked like aurora. Captain Chen stood with High Counselor Veneris and Admiral Cross, watching as repair crews used modified temporal fields to restore damaged vessels in minutes rather than months. 3 weeks had passed since their first major victory against the Nexus Scout Force. The latest reports from the detection grid are promising, Chen said, manipulating a holographic display between them. The Nexus is retreating from all major approaches to Coalition space. They didn't expect to face a unified defense, let alone one with temporal capabilities. More importantly, Dr. Patil added as she joined them, the integration of human temporal science with Coalition quantum technology has exceeded all projections. The new quantum temporal cores are operating at 200% of planned efficiency. Veneris's feathers shifted in a pattern of profound satisfaction, and the medical applications your people promised are already saving lives. Temporal stasis fields are revolutionizing our emergency response capabilities. That's just the beginning. Chen smiled, nodding to Atlas. The AI's holographic form appeared, projecting a new set of schematics. We're ready to share the next phase of humanity's gift to the galaxy. The display showed massive structures, research centers, medical facilities, and cultural exchange hubs, all powered by combined human Coalition technology. But at the center was something even more ambitious. A temporal observatory, Chen explained, capable of detecting threats centuries before they emerge, not just from the Nexus, but from any source that might threaten galactic peace. What humanity did by necessity, the galaxy can now do by choice. The Coalition Assembly has approved the project unanimously, Admiral Cross announced. All member species will contribute their unique insights and technologies. The observatory will be a testament to what we can achieve together. Through the window, they watched as a Coalition science vessel successfully tested its new temporal drive, briefly phasing out of normal spacetime before reappearing precisely on target. The technology that had preserved humanity through 3 centuries of waiting was now opening new frontiers of exploration. There will be challenges ahead, Chen acknowledged. The Nexus will return in force, and there may be other threats we haven't foreseen, but we'll face them together, with the combined wisdom of all our peoples. Dr. Patel's tablet chimed with an update from the Prometheus's research labs. The first generation of Coalition temporal scientists has completed their initial training. They're already proposing modifications to our existing systems that we never considered. Exactly as we hoped, Chen smiled. Humanity didn't preserve our knowledge just to keep it frozen in time. We waited for the right moment to share it, so it could grow into something greater than we could achieve alone. As if to emphasize her words, a brilliant light flashed outside the station. The first test of a Coalition-built temporal core had succeeded, its energy signature identical to the Prometheus's own. In the distance, more human ships were emerging from stasis, each bringing new knowledge to share with their allies. Perhaps, Venras observed, this is what the galaxy needed all along, not just the return of humanity's knowledge, but the proof that different civilizations could truly work as one. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the promise of a future where ancient wisdom and new discoveries danced together across the cosmic deep.